doing. It'd probably be.
It's not signing me into.
Who are you trying to sign into?
YouTube keeps signing me out of them. Okay, I'm finally signed in.
You don't need to be signed into YouTube. Hello.
Now I'm live because I was muted. Hello.
Hey, cool.
Hello, boys.
Hello. How are you?
I'm alright, that was fun, wasn't it?
It's alright.
Don't know which one do you mute,
just gonna talk
Discord
over
or
this,
YouTube?
If you could mute the YouTube bill, that would be very helpful.
Yeah, I've signed.
So, anyone who's joining us, hello. Hello! Welcome to the chat. Do stick questions in there. I'll read them out to these beautiful idiots. And let us know
A
what
bit
you
of a
thought.
delay between.
That's how it works, Bill.
Mm-hmm.
It's just in case
Alright.
anything happens, like someone explodes or says cunt. It means we could edit it out. Hello, Pete.
What up, what up?
It's kind of freeing to finally have that out there, isn't it? I mean, it's not out to everyone, but I've wanted to play these songs to people so badly for like a year now.
That's fair. Don't worry. In a few months' time, we'll be playing them badly to the whole country.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're not wrong. Oh no, Nico will be back in a moment.
Wait, where is
There was a
Nico?
question that popped up.
Then, do you want to...
What's harder, writing lyrics that are original and like no other song, or writing the tunes as to not sound like others?
Oh. Well, the lyric one should be for Nico. That empty chair right there. What do you think?
I think writing probably the music, but I don't know because I don't write lyrics, so it's hard to say.
I think music, like lyric-wise, there's a finite amount of words you can use, obviously. But on a guitar,
Try me.
like the amount of times that we've had to be like, this sounds way too much like this. This sounds way too much like this. Let's revisit. It's kind
Yeah.
of alarming. And then, yeah, like you say, to get into the studio and then be like, maybe we change that. And then you're like, do you know how long it took us to write something that we thought might be like remotely original?
Come on, man. We
Um,
thought we could get away with this.
Yeah. Yeah. People saw our band names in our chat. James. Mysterious James.
Mysterious James.
Yeah, I think like there's a finite amount of words, but there's also like there's only 7 notes, right? So you have to be very creative.
Mate, you need a longer neck on your guitar. There's well more than 7.
Well, no, they just start repeating afterwards, but like, yeah, you need to be careful how you place them, what time signatures. I mean, everything in rock is 4/4, so you're more likely to
Especially when
sound like someone else.
when your drummer's obsessed with status quo, everything in rock is 4/4.
Yep.
We're just going to slate Charlie because he can't make it today.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
Yeah, why would we not?
And James can make it. James just can't figure out life.
How to use, yeah, technology.
Says, help me, I've fallen and I can't get up.
I feel like he would most likely quote Simpsons over Futurama, but
That's from a real American advert, man. It's like
Oh, really?
It's like a Stena Stairlift thing, I think.
oh, fair.
Woman going, I've fallen and I can't get up. If people are talking in the chat to ask questions, they're not coming up for me. So you boys might have to be little eagle-eyed slug people.
Okay.
If this was a question on the actual listening party, I don't know. I can't see any other questions.
There are no questions, so if anyone wants to ask questions, then we shall answer them. If they don't, this is just going to be the ampersand part of Q&A.
Yeah, it's just Elliot ampersand Bill ampersand Nico.
I will say though, thanks to everyone for your nice comments on the stream. Everyone seems to be enjoying it so far. Who's listened to it? We did put a lot of effort into this album, so it's good to have that response.
I'd love to hear
It has been.
what ones people liked as well, because obviously there's some stuff in there that's like way heavier than the other tracks, and so it's interesting to see where you will land on the Dead Man's Whiskey spectrum.
Where do you land?
Mate, I'm all over the spectrum. I think it changes. Like every time I listen through to it, because I try not to do it too often. I'm like, oh god, I love that song. So like one month I'll be like, Time is an absolute banger. I love it. Couldn't be better. And then, you know, a month later I'll go back and have another listen. I'm like, I'll tell you what, What's Your Name is just, it hits different, you know.
I think Time is the one that has actually grown on me more than any.
What? So it took
Surprising.
some time. I think we have
Could
a
we just end the
question.
stream on that?
Yeah.
Clean Boy's probably the one that grew on me the most. I
You
think.
can't
Got back from
call it
holiday.
that, Bill. It's not called that.
Oh wait, what do you call
Sorry.
it?
He called
Fear
it-
is
so-
fear is cold.
Fear is
cold.
We might as well tell you guys this while we're doing this. When we were initially writing the album, Fear is Cold started as just that like clean guitar part at the beginning, and then part. And we were just referring to it offhand, like, oh, we should go back and work on the Clean Boy, and it stuck up until like we'd recorded the album. The files were all called Clean Boy, and Boy BOI, like not a sensible name at all. To the point that when we sent it out to a few people to be like, hey, have a quick listen, tell us what you think, we're looking for feedback for things like track order, a bunch of people were like, you cannot call that song that. But we
I
did.
like Clean Boy as a name though.
It's so
Wait,
stupid.
what is it called?
Fear is
what's it
Cold.
Yeah, I remember. We had like a massive voting system on all different
did.
names. Fear is Cold was not a strong suggestion. Clean Boy was.
So, boys, if you had to choose just one of each, what was your favourite thing about the new album, and what's been the most challenging? Go on, Bill.
I don't know. Like most challenging in terms of the recording process, or in general.
I think just
In terms of the recording process, I would. Okay, well, I'd say in general, it's sitting on it for as long as we have. To be honest, I think it's been very challenging getting everything else, like sort of the promo for it, the music videos, you know, organizing the campaigns and everything. That's probably been quite challenging in itself. But then in terms of the recording specifically, it was the first time that ever, I think, that I felt like I was pushed as hard as I would from Chris and Colin. It was the first time where, and I liked it, because it wasn't just a case of, oh, I've recorded this, yeah, it'll pass, it sounds good, it's fine. It was like actually taking apart some of like the solos and some of the parts in the songs that were there for a while, and them just being either it doesn't fit or it's not good enough. You need to like do it again, or maybe you should go here, maybe you should go there. I think on that note, actually, Masquerade probably was the most challenging, because obviously we had this song recorded for like 2 years already. Maybe not 2 years, but like I'd say 18 months. We had it before Breakout,
we had it
and everyone in
before
this band had. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we had it through lockdown. Well, I think we recorded it sort of as lockdown began, didn't we? The first time.
Yeah, the studio hadn't shut yet,
and
so we rushed in.
Yeah. And everyone, obviously, you know, in the band had become so sort of accustomed to hearing it in the form that it was then, that we weren't even planning on re-recording it. But obviously the other songs just sounded so good in the production and everything that we had to. Well, we felt like we had to, otherwise we wouldn't be doing it justice. But obviously, as with the other songs, Chris and Colin were like, right, we need to make some changes here. And actually getting, it sounds a bit comedic, but getting the new sort of solo part in my head compared to what had we've been playing or listening to for the past 3 years, and even like getting used to some of Nico's like vocal changes was so weird. So it was like, it was challenging in a way of accepting it and trying to take a step back and view it sort of objectively, that no, this is a better version compared to you know, this is like demo love, or this is just what I'm used to because we've had it for 3 years.
Go on, fave.
What do you guys think?
What's your fave thing about the album? You can track if you want.
I keep jumping between 3 tracks. It would initially, for a while, it was Do or Die. I still think it's probably one of my top 3. So I'd say Do or Die, then it became Island in the Storm, and then Who I Am. Those are my top 3.
Okay. Garnell, what's been the big struggle for you?
Yeah, like I said, it depends. I think in terms of the writing, I'd agree. Masquerade Changes were the hardest one to swallow, and I know even up until the point that we redone it, we had a lot of back and forth as to whether we liked the new version or not.
Wow.
So I think that was probably one of the more difficult. I think, like you say, Chris and Colin do push for perfection. So like in the recording studio, I don't even know if it's in some of the videos, we're going to release some of the footage, but I had to play with a cloth on like 5 out of 6 strings. So recording in like a completely random way where they're like trying to completely cut the rest of the noise it just adds that bit more pressure when you're sort of sitting there writing songs and trying to learn them whilst playing them for an album. It kind of it just sort of amalgamates. But outside of the album process, like everything around it has been challenging. Like there's so much admin to do in the background that it's just like, that is the bit that takes a real toll, and that's why the last 18 months have been so annoying, because we want to get the music out there, but we just have to keep delaying it for the sake of actually getting all this stuff lined up, and it takes so much time. It's unreal.
I think that's, for me, that is the biggest challenge. It's the scale of the production. Like we've bought out a CD or whatever, done pre-orders for it, but doing vinyl, doing t-shirts, and having the Kickstarter items, like all of it combined just means there is so much more legwork, and it feels manageable right up until you actually start doing it, and then it's like, oh fuck, we were not ready at all for this. But I mean, like
I think sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, on the positive side, I mean, a lot of people have said to me I sound a lot more like relaxed and comfortable in the album when I'm singing. And I think finding that way of being in the studio is the best thing for me that's come out of it. Because we worked with, as we said a couple of times, Chris Clancy and Colin Richardson, and they're so good at what they do that it never felt hard to be doing. Even when it was complex to sing or hard to play for you guys, it never felt like it was a struggle to do it. Because they were like, no, we're going to get it. Don't worry, there's no pressure, and like even the time pressures that we did have, because you know you can't be in the studio till the end of time, it still felt like we're going to make it, and they're going to make sure that we make it. I think that was a great feeling for me.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I think a lot of that stems from like our first album, where both things. Firstly, in the sense of like the production and getting everything ready. You know, what Elliot was saying about it taking so long, because our first album was very much a case of, oh, let's go in the studio. Oh, we have an album. Here it is. A month later, like we released it, like with no promo, nothing. And I think we sort of just didn't want to.
So we
Pardon?
made a poster for the launch gig for it while we were in the studio. Like one evening, I just sat.
Oh yeah.
And we put it out like, yeah, we'll bring it out in a month. There we go.
No, that's
And also here's a bit of an inside secret for the Kickstarters. Our very first album, not the Reloaded issue, the original issue, was not even meant to be an album. That was meant to be an EP, and then whoever did the poster called it an album launch, and we're like, oh, I guess we have an album now. So that was that, and I think we learned a lot from, like, let's call it mistakes of the past, or doing things slightly different, to get more used to sort of how it should be.
Yeah.
And I think that also goes for actually recording in the studio, like what Nico was touching on with in terms of like feeling comfortable, having someone actually guide you to, you know, whether it's how you should sing, like things you should play, when to sort of, you know, stretch for something and when not to. Whereas before, because we'd all done everything ourselves, we were literally just in there just doing what we felt like, or what someone was like, oh, that like mad note at the end sounds insane, you should sing the whole chorus like that, and like we'd do it. Or you should play that, you know, super fast thing like every time in this section, and then it would just, you know, once the sort of hype around it was gone and we were used to the track, it'd be a case of like, oh, why did we do this again? Whereas now it feels like, I think there's a bit more of a mature approach to it.
Yeah, Chris had this thing we'd do with me quite a lot, where I'd sing the melody as we'd written it, and he'd be like, no, that's a live note. You don't do that on the record. If you feel like you can when you're playing live, deploy that note there. It sounds amazing, but you don't want to have to do that every night. And I'd never thought of it like that. Like when you're live, you can amp it up a bit if you want, but on the record, you want it a bit cleaner, you want it sharper, tighter. Yeah. Mike has asked us, is there going to be any new merch? Because he's apparently wrecked some DMW t-shirts. Well done. Love a bit of wear and tear. And says that a hoodie wouldn't go in this.
Well, obviously there were hoodies, new hoodies and t-shirts in the Kickstarter bundles. So not sure, I can't remember who's ordered what at this point. So there's a new merch there, but then there is, I mean, well, there's definitely new t-shirts. I'm sure they'll be announced soon. Because we have actually, we've got a couple of different designs. And I think we've talked about hoodies. There might likely be some for the November tour. But I think it's just a case of getting everything else sorted out first, because like Elliot was saying earlier, there's been a lot to sort of going on sort of behind the scenes in terms of orders and merch and everything. But it's definitely something that we would like to do this time around, because once again, we didn't really have that many hoodies when Under the Gun or Breakout came out. If you have one, you're very lucky, because they were quite rare from those two releases.
I think even some of us lost ours, so I think there are very few hoodies floating around even in the band. And we do have the designs, if we're honest. We just had to make an executive decision on what we could afford right now, and hoodies sort of fell outside that for the first iteration, but we're definitely open to it because the designs look sick.
Yeah.
So, who else have we got? Gotta take my glasses off to read. Hi Skull. Anyone who doesn't know Skull is one of our Norwich-based fans. Always good to have him out. It says it's bloody brilliant. Thanks. I did actually see your post on Facebook. That is a lot of whiskey. If you need any help drinking it, I'm sure we can lend a hand.
Whatever happened to the whiskey bottles? I know I ask this every time this question comes up. We've been given custom.
I know Charlie has one, because it was in his video. I don't know where the others are.
Yeah, we definitely had like 2 or 3 over the years.
So,
and
I had one.
Nico had one.
I had one that had black food colouring and glitter in it.
Yeah.
And I cracked it open at a party, stained a black ring into someone's countertop with it, and it was not nice to drink. It was like drinking poisonous fire.
Fair.
Who's asking things?
I mean, I don't know if that's something people would be interested. Would people be interested in Dead Man's Whiskey being an actual whiskey?
I'd be interested in it. I just don't know how we make it happen. We almost got an endorsement for coffee before. But
We've been over.
Yeah, that's true. And
no, whiskey was one that we approached, but for Racing Bullet, remember? We approached Bullet.
Oh yeah, we almost got that actually. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just they don't like the name Dead, so apparently it's not a good application.
You can turn, apparently, scientifically, diabetic urine into whiskey because it's got a high sugar content. So, as a resident type 1 diabetic, if anyone wants a bottle of my piss to call whiskey, hit us up. We'll put it on the merch store.
How does it always get back to this?
Just 28 pounds.
It's your suggestion for everything.
Yeah, my answer to everything is a bottle of piss.
Yours specifically, but yeah.
Oh yes.
Okay, there's another question.
Yes.
What track from the new album are you most looking forward to playing live? You guys go first this time.
Go on out.
Probably Time, just because it's in my head right now, and I don't know why. I think it's just a bit heavier, and I kind of want to see how the audience reacts to it, because it is just sort of like here's a metal song to an extent, and it's just kind of fun to play. And we haven't really rocked it too much in the studio yet.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, so it's kind of like, yeah. Whereas the others we've been sort of drilling, so it's kind of, yeah, probably that. You?
It's what's your name for me. It's so bumping, man. That song is so fun. Like, even when we play it in the studio, I get really excited about it. So I actually can't wait to do it in front of other people.
You know what? The thing that worries me is it's a lot like what was that old song we used to play? The other groovy one that was on the EP.
Rooster Crows.
No, not.
Oh, on the EP.
Funky. What's
I Am
Funky
Here.
called? Yeah,
I'm
I
Here.
Am Here. Where it's like I really love playing it, but it's never
called-
really requested. Yeah, legit. I know them all as our titles, and it's never been anything but funky in my head. But like, yeah, it falls in that category to me where I'm really worried that I love it so much, and then we never play it live. That
I won't allow
that's
that.
why I'm. Fair.
What about you, Bill?
Swags?
It's so. I've got one that I'm looking forward to playing, which is probably Who I Am, because we've not done that live, and it's got a lot of sort of ups and downs in the song, as well as a pretty nice solo. And then I've got one that I'm also looking forward to playing, but for different reasons. That would be Clean Boy, purely because I'm curious to see how we're going to perform it,
Stop calling it
how
that.
well we're going to perform it.
It could be
Sorry,
called Clean
fear
Boy,
is cold.
because-
Fear is cold, right, guys? Fear is cold. Fear is cold. Just because I'm curious to see how we perform it live.
Yeah, to be fair, Clean Boy is
Elliot.
definitely.
Clean Boy, Elliot.
I'm gonna call it Clean
I
Boy.
just
Like,
got
we're
told
allowed
off.
to call it whatever we want. Like, you don't get mad at me for calling it funky. That's completely fine.
Yeah.
It's not on this album, so it gets a pass.
Yeah. All right, fine. Clean Boy, because we haven't quite figured out how we're doing it yet. I'm kind of, yeah. That's gonna be so weird live.
Ooh, what is our favourite venue or gig we've played so far?
That's such a hard question.
Yeah, it's out of order, that one, isn't it?
Let's bang out.
Because venue's one thing, but then when you have gigs in general, it's like, are we including festivals? Are we limiting it to like just purely sort of
Oh, scrap
venue
festivals.
style gigs?
Scrap festivals, venues. Go on, Nico. You go first.
You know
on one.
what, I really like the one, I feel bad because I don't remember what the venue's called, where Just Push Play is.
Apex.
Oh, the Apex.
Apex is a great venue. I really like
Yeah.
it there.
Why?
Mostly, I think because I like being on like a traditional proscenium arch stage, but it's such a cool space. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
It felt very like a blend of old and new, and I really liked that about it.
So,
My favorite, I mean, obviously, yeah, I do like that one. But I sort of count Just Push Play as a festival, so I didn't.
yeah,
didn't include it.
it's in the name.
That's fair.
So,
So I would say the Waterloo, man. Like, I know it's probably an answer that a lot of people give, but
true.
I think that's
Waterloo
probably
is-
in terms of like the coolest venue, as well as like all the stuff they've got in there, as well as just the sound as well. That we've always had good sound there. I'd probably say that's my favorite.
Yeah, I think the new revamped Waterloo is actually a solid venue.
Yeah,
There are some festivals, not festivals, like venues and gigs that we always know are going to be good.
Yeah.
I think Leo's is always a shoe-in for that. Like, I really love playing there
Yeah.
because it's wetty, grimy. You get the sort of same crowd or a similar crowd, and it gets a bit. It's in one of our videos that we released, I think, where it gets a bit more raucous in places.
yeah. Norwich as well is always. We
Yeah,
always know
Norwich
that's a
is
good.
always
That's
good
a
fun.
good gig.
Yeah. In terms of venue, yeah, I'd say Waterloo is good. I actually really liked Audio 2 in Glasgow.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was,
Yeah,
that was
that's
actually a cool venue. And then there was some really weird venues that we played on our first ever tour that I really liked, but just because they were odd.
Yeah.
Like, what was the really tall one that we played in when Nico got smashed? Had a pentagram on the floor. Is it the
I
Asylum?
don't even remember.
No, it wasn't.
Is that the
Asylum.
Sanctuary in Burnley?
Sanctuary in Burnley. I really like that venue just because it's like it's got proper rock vibes
Yeah.
and not many people know about it, and it's open 24 hours.
It's when we
Just
stayed in the Haunted
mad.
House.
It is when we stay in the haunted
Yes.
house.
And your car broke down as well.
Yeah. Nico, you need to turn your mic up. Apparently, I can hear you quite clearly, but equally.
Turn my mic up.
James says B.
Wow, that's.
James
good
is learning how
insight,
to use the keyboard.
Hang on.
He's
Hence my
also-
comment about him understanding technology at the beginning of this video.
James. All right, DUK. Are you having a breakdown? Do you think you're in our Facebook chat? What are you doing? James, can we kick people? Wait, 1 sec, I'll see if I can kick him. Oh, I can remove him. I can hide the user on the channel. I can report him. Cornwall. Okay, always looking for new venues to check out. Still waiting for a visit to Cornwall.
What venues there in Cornwall?
I think we got given a list of venues recently because we did ask this. We wanted to really expand our search. The issue with Cornwall is we've never played down there, so it becomes a risk
Yeah.
immediately for us. And it's not that it's a risk that we don't want to take. It's like, you know, when you'd rather... We like testing new waters with festivals, and I know there's a few festivals down there that we'd love to get on that we haven't yet, and that's our main concern. Like, we have ventured out to some areas in the past, and they've been a bit hit or miss. And it's like we always run into this, like, we have to weigh up strategically where our listeners are and pick the stuff based off that and where isn't too far to travel and stuff. But I'd love to get down there. I actually, it's a cracking area. Have family down there, and it's just really fun. And it has like community vibes as well, which is why I like it. So I think like when you find a decent venue down there, you get the crowd that does go purely for that venue, which like makes it less hard of a sell for the band. It's just fitting it in always adds like a sort of 8-hour round trip to our next gig, which always makes it a bit tougher on tour, but definitely want to play it.
It's also the fact that sometimes, you know, when we've not played an area before, we genuinely might not get a response from the venues, which is like nothing wrong with that. It's just a case of, you know, them not knowing us not knowing them, and it just becomes a bit harder to get gigs booked. And I think that's also probably going to be the answer to most sort of generic questions of why aren't you playing here or why aren't you playing there. It's 90% of the time, well, maybe 70% of the time, it's due to that, and then the other 30% is probably scheduling. Like maybe they've got other gigs on, or you know, it doesn't. We've got the dates they've got available, we don't. So, like for example, this tour that we're doing in November, that took a long time to put together.
It's been 6 months.
For example, we could have had. We could have had 8 out of 10 venues confirmed, and just confirming those extra 2 could have taken like an extra 6-7 weeks. So yeah, that's one reason why we tend to go back to areas that we've played in the past, or we sort of have some sort of relationship with either the owners or the promoter who puts on events around there. But saying that, we've got quite a few gigs on this tour that either we've not played there in a long time, or we're playing there for the first time. I mean, Liverpool we've never played before. I think Leeds we've played Leeds, but a different venue once. I can't think of. I don't have the list in front of me, but I remember those 2 sort of stood out as new areas. Swindon we've never played.
Is Leeds where we played with Chris Barris?
No.
You said no before I'd
never-
even suggested it.
Because we've never. Okay, firstly we've never played Leeds with Chris Barris. That was Lincoln.
Okay, I couldn't actually remember from that tour. I swear we were playing new
Yeah.
areas. on that tour.
Yeah, we did Lincoln, Newcastle, and
Carlisle?
2 more. Yeah, Carlisle, and there was one more. I can't remember what it was. Was it Sheffield or something?
Bolton? No, not Bolton.
Oh no, was it? No, it wasn't Reading, was it? I can't actually remember what that was. It wasn't Leeds though. The first time we did
the
Leeds was with the Fallen State.
It's a place called the Underground,
cool.
and I was really ill. Sure.
Oh, that was Bradford, no? Was that
Yeah.
Bradford?
Oh, that was with no, that wasn't
That
with
was
Chris Barris.
Jizzy
That was
Pearl.
with Jizzy Pearl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I don't know.
Liverpool should be a great night. Hopefully. Genuinely,
Yeah.
hopefully. It's a
We
cracking
are looking,
town.
I'm looking forward to that one. We've actually sold quite well on tickets so far for that as well, which I was a bit surprised, like I said, because we've not played it before.
Yeah, it's a gamble for us.
But yeah, I know we had a few people sort of complain that we're not doing Sheffield. We actually were intending until Liverpool became available, but we did do Sheffield in May, so you snooze, you lose.
It's not even that. I don't think we could get the dates we wanted to be. Or if we did, we
No,
had to
it
like,
was-
drop,
yeah.
like 3 or 4 different dates. It just got
Yeah,
awkward.
yeah, it was. Yeah, jokes aside, it was something like that. Like, I think the one date that we could both do, they already had like 2 other bands penciling it in, and it was just becoming too complicated because we had most of the tour sorted by then.
Yeah.
That
We have
is a
about
big-
7 spreadsheets on this tour. And it's like, yeah, if you see the final graph that Bill and Rich and James sorted out, they're actually insane. Like, they're so hard to keep track of. There's so many tabs and there's so many venues listed that were contacted, and there's so many dates put down and the dates we wanted and provisional
Yeah.
dates. It's like,
The venue
Yeah,
pencil.
Yeah, I think we had like 5 different trackers or 6 different like alternative
Yeah.
venues at a minimum for each date.
But yeah, the penciling of venues thing, we're seeing it more and more because there's less and less venues and more bands. Like 90% of the time when you try and book a show, they'll say, well, you can challenge, but every date for the next 18 months has got at least one band name against it already penciled in. It's like, fucking hell, what do you do? And then I do feel bad a lot of the time as well, because what you generally have to do is the first band will get contacted and told either pay now or we give them the slot, and that's it feels kind of gross. Has it happened to us yet? The other way around?
No,
I don't know.
because
if
we've not.
penciled, really.
A few of the dates I think we've actually penciled.
I know we've
But
had
Rich
some
might know more about that.
before.
Yeah, I think the thing is we're pretty good at paying straight away because
Yeah.
we want to get stuff sorted. And the issue that we see more and more, like you say, is that everyone is just penciling all dates because they're so hotly contested. And there's no real punishment for penciling it and not taking it. So a lot of people will just pencil like 6 months in advance, a whole month's worth of dates,
Now
with
to
no
find a
intention of doing it.
band.
Yeah, and it just puts pressure on you, and it's like it's become a bit of a weird industry, and because of that, it's like that's a whole separate sort of conversation that we have around
Yeah.
the industry as a whole, and it's sort of putting a lot of distrust with fans as well, where we're seeing a lot fewer sort of pre-sales early on because of it, because a lot of people are penciling or holding dates right up until the last minute and cancelling. It's become a
Yeah,
bit of a weird
I was just going to
culture
say
right
that.
now. Yeah, and we're struggling with it personally. We'll never cancel dates unless we genuinely have a reason that we can't do it.
Yeah.
You've played to One Man and His Dog before, and
To be fair, that
Yeah.
dog was really nice.
he was the man.
It was,
Not
yeah.
so much.
Jake Town says Boston Rooms will be the best. Yes, we are definitely looking forward to that. We've never played that venue. Every time we play London, we do try and sort of play somewhere different. Obviously, we've done, the Underworld, the Assembly, the Black Heart, probably a few more. The 229, the O2
Yeah.
Islington.
Yeah. Oh, and
Did we do the water? Oh yeah, we did
Yeah,
the
we
water
did Water
rats
Rats
way
early
back in
on.
the day.
before Charlie was in the band. And
Yeah,
what
that was like our
other
third
venue?
ever gig.
One that we don't talk about. What was the worst night?
Oh,
in the
the
band's
Saint
history? Saint Moritz.
Yeah, but Charlie wasn't in the band then either. That was probably our second gig ever as a band.
I think that was also
Yeah.
the first time the band almost split up. I think it was
was.
about a month in and we just had enough already. We were like, no,
Right,
it's not
boys,
worth us.
There is a question. A question has flooded in. Who's the band you would most like to tour with? So not just one show, tour.
Oh, it depends what level you're talking at because there's so many obvious
Yeah,
answers.
yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Slightly
GNR. It's gonna be It's just.
I mean, I
same
take Slash and the Conspirators to bring it down to like more realistic levels.
Yeah, if you ask people, it's going to be GNR, it's going to be Pearl Jam, it's going to be Alter Bridge, and it's going to maybe be Iron Maiden or whatever.
I
Blackstone Cherry.
I think we wouldn't go down great on a Pearl Jam bill.
Yeah, we would.
You think so?
We just play Who I Am on repeat 12 times. No, I'm joking.
It's going to be GNR.
I
Just 2 out of 5 are going to win this vote. So
Yeah, I think though you're right. It depends the level as well. Like, if you're talking any band in the world, then yeah, it's going to be one of the big ones. But if you're talking sort of, I guess a couple of levels. Like, I mean, in venues, I'd say like academy bands. Then I'd say Blackstone Cherry probably.
I want to play with Electric Callboy.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
It's their crowd.
I mean, that would be sick as well. Yeah.
Yeah, or yeah, there's a few bands, Skin Dread, like bands that I genuinely like really enjoy watching live are the high energy ones, and it's like there are some bands that put on cracking shows. Like, yeah, if you get a chance, go to Electric Callboy, slightly different music, very dancey, very fun night. Skin Dread's always fun. Bloody Wood are really good. Like, there's so many bands I've seen recently that are just like blowing it out of the park, and it's like it's good to see that there's some new stuff coming through.
No, I just want to, like, if we're going European, then I want a band like Windrose, like full dressed up as dwarves, plate mail. Like, I want to find a crowd.
I've never heard of that band.
You've never heard of Windrose?
And it would go to a vote. No, I mean, either it would go to a vote, and we're not doing that. So we're actually on holiday that day. What day is it? Yeah, we're on holiday. Sorry.
Okay. Well, we're not playing with Windrose then.
I've genuinely never heard of them. I'm actually going to put a track on them and pretend I'm listening to the stream at the same time.
Pretend you're listening. That's not good. I think in terms of
Diggy
touring,
Diggy Hole is their main song.
yeah.
Wow.
Are you also unaware?
What was their main song?
Diggy Diggy Hole.
Oh, okay. We're
Diggy
going to do
Diggy
this
Hole,
on here.
okay.
So Yogscast in the early 2000s were like the most famous YouTubers. Big in World of Warcraft initially, and then Minecraft. They made up a little song called Diggy Diggy Hole, and then it got very popular as a meme, and then Windrose did a metal cover of it.
Wait, they're allowed to have a song called Diggy Diggy Hole, but we have to change Clean Boy.
Yeah. Because Clean Boy doesn't say brothers of the mind rejoice. Drink, drink, drink with me. Right.
Well, you wrote the lyrics. Why doesn't it say that?
Because it was already in Diggy Diggy Hole. Powerwolf for me. That's a strong suggestion. If they still existed, I'd love to talk with Camelot. They were really good. I was really into Battle Battle back in the day.
Have you changed?
Yeah, I just don't listen to it so much anymore.
What are you listening to now?
What we're listening to now, Dead Man's Whiskey.
Oh, really?
Right at this very moment, yeah. If you had the stream on, you'd hear it.
If I had to stream, I'd hear myself, which I'm definitely not doing.
But I mean, a lot of what I'm listening to now, like, there's a lot of Electric Callboy happening. That's pretty much everyone in the band, but that's going on. And
I haven't listened to him for a few months.
because I'm getting married soon, it's been lots of listening to the playlist we built for the wedding to see if things need to go in, come out, get moved. So yeah, I'm going to be sick of those songs by the time.
What's your favourite song on the wedding playlist that's like kind of out there?
Oh, that's out there. Party Time by the Northern Boys.
Okay. What's the final song on the playlist?
We haven't actually we've not settled on it yet. There's a few that keep floating around, and
Fair enough.
we'll see. But it depends if you want to end hard or end soft. So. And generally you end soft, don't you? Just hard all the way through. I think some questions have flooded in.
Why don't you do the closing song? That's what I'm used to whenever we're trying to wrap up venues.
What's each of our favourite songs to perform live and why? So I guess from the old stuff.
Well, we've put some of the new stuff out live.
True.
Sporadically. Favorite song live? Still probably Ho Street.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's
Bill's
playing right
muted
now.
himself. Still Ho Street, I think, purely because you know what? It's one of those songs where I never know what you two are gonna do in the middle, and it cracks me up every time. Or
Oh, yeah. I don't know what we're gonna do in the middle.
yeah, precisely. It's always made up.
I don't know what
Like
to
it
do.
probably to everyone else, it probably looks like staged, but it's genuinely not staged in the slightest. It's just like at times it'd be like, do we just take the piss out of each other and see if we can make each other mess up? Do we play with the audience in this way? And it's just like, yeah, I think that's why it's always a bit fresh, whereas the other stuff gets a bit stale. And for that reason, obviously, if we do the War Machine breakdown, I love doing that live because it's like I never know what songs are going to
Yeah.
come out
Yeah.
for the most part. Yeah.
I would say Racing Bullet for me, probably, just because it's always such a good. I feel like it's such a good closer. With the energy and the sing along part and stuff, and usually because it's right after Make You Proud, which is obviously a girl will resonate with that song, but I find it's like it's like a perfect song to shift the energy and close out the show.
It's what?
It's Make You Proud for me. I know it seems like a ghost that I'd say that, but I just
It does, yeah. Not even I believe you right now.
no. Actually, do you know what? It's Make You Proud at festivals, and it's
Yeah,
War
fair.
Machine at gigs.
Yeah, I knew War Machine was going to be in there.
Yeah.
It's War Machine, like it's such high energy, especially if it's early in the set. It gets me pumped. It really gets me into it. And
Yeah.
like doing Make You Proud for that many people, just it hits different. Like that.
I think it's definitely the hardest song to play, like especially in smaller gigs, because it's like, yeah, because you're that close to people and you see the emotion on some people, and it's like it does definitely hit home a lot harder.
Like we've been in the face bar and there've been people like right at the front barrier,
Yeah.
crying, and it's like I feel like I'm meant to stop now and check on you, but I'll finish the song and then I'll do that. Like, yeah, that song is could be pretty vicious.
Wait, right, we need to get through these questions
Yes.
because there's one question that I really want to know about because I'm
Wait,
not aware
I've got
about it.
more
But
quiet.
let's keep
Let's
going.
try-
Am I less quiet now, Pete? Less quiet now? Right, Skull. If a full whiskey bottle is not likely to happen, how about a laser engraved empty Dead Man's whiskey bottle we can fill up ourselves with your favourite tipple?
Laser engraved bottles I have looked into. There is someone that sells them at a few festivals. You may have seen them at Rock Witch and stuff. Reached out to them. We did start getting down the quoting phase, and then I need to double chase that because they make lights, but you can also get the laser engraving stuff. We would sell full stuff, but it's frowned upon by venue owners because they believe that people will end up drinking it instead of their stuff. So
How could they?
because I wanted to give away shots and get custom shot glass and give away a shot with every purchase. Also frowned upon, because people are boring. But Airborne are allowed to set up a whole bar on stage and give out drinks to whatever age people they want. But we want to give shots to paying customers, and we're the bad guys.
We are the bad guys.
No,
But no, I think that could be cool. Laser engraved bottles. Just depends what you engrave on them. Just the logo, I guess.
I mean, you sound thrilled by it. So
I don't own a laser, so I can't engrave anything. So at the
I
moment
did
it's
have
just
a
conceptual.
did genuinely have a glass engraving kit that I stole from my religious studies when I was in secondary school.
Well, you
and
know
never
that's
used
for
it.
Jesus and you've stole it.
Yeah, I didn't know why it was there really.
Dreadful crime and a sin you've committed there, Elliot.
Yeah, I think we'd probably go for a more elaborate design than just the logo. But Chuck Whiskey.
That's a cool idea, though.
Oh my god! Right, I've just got back from Japan and I haven't spoken to you boys properly yet. I went to a gig in Japan.
Did
The
you?
music was absolutely quite average, right? And the crowd is somewhere torn between like being able to really kick off and not kick off because they're really polite as a culture. But the lead singer of the second band, it was like a proper hardcore punk band. And the lead singer was getting properly into it, jumping into the crowd. He jumps back on stage, picks up the mic stand and throws it as hard as he can, hits this guy, and then goes from like the most hardcore angry person to the most apologetic polite person you've ever seen. Walks over to the guy, starts bowing, apologizes profusely, and the rest of the show is basically him just apologizing to the guy on stage because he's got so hyped up that he's taken a mic stand,
Just giving
and
it-
launched it.
Just swing my
Hit
set,
this
swing my
guy's
set.
head. Legit, and that's all it was. It was just like it
Oh,
went
man.
from really cool to really awkward in about 10 seconds, and I was just like, "Oh, this is beautiful."
Mr. Brindley has asked us, are we aware that the Dwayne Watson Band have recorded a tribute to you guys on their first album released in January this year?
When you say a tribute to us guys,
I think he's taking the piss.
I think I have discovered that song though, by accident. Well, James, someone posted it, shared it with us. There's a song called Dead Man's Whiskey, which I found quite funny.
If James shared it, I didn't see it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's the one I saw a while ago. They've got a song called Dead Man's Whiskey.
yeah, fair.
Ruse.
Doesn't
Maybe-
sound anything like our stuff.
We should. Oh, you know what we should do? We should next album. We'll call one track Massive Wagons, one track Those Damn Crows. Like we'll just name all that one song. Stonebroken. We'll name it after all the bands, right? So that if people are looking those bands up, our songs come up. This is genius. This is like making an alcohol called Responsibly, so that every other booze has to advertise your booze by saying drink responsibly.
Smart.
Modern
Okay, there's
problems
a
require
question-
modern
there's-
solutions.
There's another question that might have some interesting answers. Are there any memorable or unusual experiences from your tours or gigs that you would like to share?
Oh hell yeah, there's loads.
Is it Jizzy Pearl time?
No, not Jizzy Pep time.
I mean, we could
you-
talk, we could talk
No.
about the tour we did earlier this year, where Elliot had to confiscate wallets and cash from both Charlie, our drummer, and Bill's guitar tech because at sort of 3-4 o'clock in the morning they insisted on going to a casino in Birmingham.
This was Birmingham, wasn't it? Yeah.
So they insist on going to the casino. Elliot says, "Right, I'm not going to let you guys gamble all your money. You can have." Would you say like you can get 50 quid out, and that's all I'm letting you
No, I
have?
said like, yeah, I said you can get £50 out each. So like, we're only going to spend a little bit. We'll get £50 out. Fine. Me and James get stopped at the entrance. Like, Lee and Charlie are smashed. They can barely talk or walk. They get through like security and the check straight away. Manage to get memberships and go in. I turn up with James. James is probably the most sober, and they reject James on the door. They're like, "You're not coming in here." And I was like, "Our friends have just gone in." And they're like, "No, he's not coming in. He's way too drunk." And I'm like, "Oh my god, the most sober person has just been kicked out of the casino." So I was like, "Fine, I'll go in." Get to the bottom of the stairs, and they've both taken out £100 cash. And I was like, "What happened to the £50 plan?" And they were like, "Well, it was just like a ballpark figure." So I was like, "Fine." And they blow this cash very quick, probably within like half hour. And they wanted to get more money out. And I was like, "I'm going to take your wallets. Like, spend what little you've got left." And they basically got in a full-on fight with me in the casino. But then decided
They
I
thanked
was
you
being-
the next day though.
No. The first thing Lee
Lee
said to me
didn't.
was not very thankful. He came straight out those doors without me seeing him, swearing his head off at me for taking his wallet and treating him like a kid, and then thanked me after. But yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The next day.
No,
they
yeah.
did.
The next day, the first words were not very kind. But yeah.
I
was gonna
think you.
say, the older stuff, man, like you getting groped, groped at that gig.
Oh
will
my god.
forever
I've-
be in my head.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, I've deleted that from memory. That and the finger licking guy.
No, the finger licking
Yeah,
guy
That
also was groping my crotch, wasn't he? That was a weird show because he was. I can't remember, was it what was the venue called?
it was in London. We had this discussion recently because someone
Yeah.
asked us.
But
It was
a
the
venue-
opening of.
It
It was the
relocated.
reopening of what's that venue in Archway? Is it Archway?
It was the reopening of the. I want to call it the Loft. Is it the Loft?
No,
it's
it's
something
not.
like that. It's like
What's it called?
I genuinely can't remember.
But yeah, the stage was like 6 inches tall, wasn't it? And just there was no barriers, nothing. Just people were directly
Yeah.
like. But the thing is, like you get at a lot of shows, people hang right back, and then there was one dude who was so close that he was on me and then Bill. Like he touched me and I didn't like it, so I'll just move. But Bill was playing a solo, sort of hand up like that, and he licked you, didn't he? Licked your fingers while you were.
Yeah, he kept coming closer and closer. and I was getting a bit uncomfortable, but I was like, okay, well, whatever, we are where we are, I guess we'll just go with it. But I was like, no, I'm not having that. When he stuck his tongue out and started licking my fingers whilst I was playing, I think that was quite uncomfortable. And yeah, the groping one that Elliot refers to was also something that I erased from memory, causing me PTSD. But we played this venue somewhere, was it Hatfield? Again, there was like a stage. Was there a stage? I don't even know if there was a
No,
stage.
there
but
wasn't a stage.
I just remember playing. I had sort of my eyes shut, and next thing you know, some pleasant but very elderly woman had stuck both her arms through my tank top shirt, and was feeling my boobies.
Wasn't that
Give him
also
the
the gig
little
where like the drummer hated Charlie or something and would just
Yeah,
stare at him? Like
Yeah.
it was literally a whole show of this guy staring at Charlie, and we don't know why.
And I know, sorry, I know we had the Archway, the finger licking guy thing before. We spoke about it fairly recently because then that went into the Adam Bomb story. That was another
Oh,
great
yeah.
gig.
Yeah, that's a boring story. Like, I get bored of that story now.
Yeah,
Do you want me to tell it? Yeah or no?
No, no.
Okay. Yeah. Fuck you
I think-
guys. You don't get to hear it.
If someone really wants it in the chat, you can request it.
Oh,
the,
another awkward moment. You know, it was the last Underworld show where the keyboard wasn't working, and
Oh.
then you had to tell a joke, and you didn't even get to finish the joke.
I got like 90% of the way through.
Oh yeah.
And it was like,
It was
bing, bing,
such a
bing,
long
there
joke.
we go. Yeah, I was having to like long it out. I was like, I don't know
Yeah,
how
it
long
was
it's
like
going to be.
Minute joke, and you didn't even get to the punchline.
People were actually asking afterwards what was the end to the joke.
Yeah, I think we had to tell it in another gig or in an interview because people were asking.
Yeah. Tell the story, Nico. I'll
Charlie chundering in the wrong garden. What was that? Sorry, go on.
I'll do the quick version of the Adam Bomb story. Adam Bomb is a very strange man, a man who claims to have been nearly in multiple very, very famous bands like Guns N' Roses, but was never in them because he was too talented and they were like sort of scared of him. Anyway, we play a show. There's about 15 bands on this lineup on like a Wednesday night in London, and you know, bands go. He's finally coming on. Right, we need to see what this is all about. He must be amazing if his press
There's
is
about
to be believed.
10 people in the venue, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah, we got
It's
pulled
been-
on last minute.
It's been like
The
less
night
and
before.
less people as the night went on, as well as people's like each band's friends left. So now there's like 3 bands and maybe like one old geezer propping up the bar. So they start playing audio from Scarface. So the bit where his mansion gets raided at the end, that ends with "You cockroaches want to play rough? Okay, I'm reloaded." That part. But all of it, all the audio, like the footsteps, everyone, the whole thing, the glass smashing, it plays all the way through and no one's come on the stage. And we're all waiting, and then a hand appears from the wings like this and does that. And the fucking, this like 6-minute audio clip starts playing again. And we wait, and then some musicians come out, but no one steps in front of the mic. And the audio ends. Okay, I'm reloaded. Da, 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 da. They all look at each other awkwardly. The guitarist nods and does that again. And they play the whole. So it's like they play the whole clip again. So now it's been about 18 minutes by the time he gets on stage with his light up guitar, and then fucked up the first chord. It was just the worst shit I've seen. Told me exactly what I didn't want to be. Yeah.
And also, fun fact about that night, another merch idea, one of the bands had their own condoms, didn't
They
they?
did. They were called STD.
Oh yeah. The initial of their name. I can't remember what their actual name was.
Something the disease.
yeah, they- Yeah,
Seize
I
the
guess
disease, maybe?
I can't remember what they're called. All I remember is Adam Bomb having like 6 autobiographies.
Oh no. It's,
I was like, how have you got so many autobiographies?
and
Like,
his guitar was covered in Christmas lights, wasn't it?
Jake's
Do you
asked
remember?
Yes, it was glowing, like radiant. Jake's asked how I'd feel about Homecoming in Frinton-on-Sea. I think Frinton-on-Sea, which has an average age of dead, by the way, and that's only because the young people are bringing it down. I think if we played our music within 15 miles of Frinton-on-Sea, they would get the remnants of the gates from the cricket club and beat us to death with them. So I'm well up for it.
What's the story James is talking about? Charlie chundering in the wrong garden.
I don't know, James, tell the story.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
For people who might be wondering, the Jizzy Pearl one is when Elliot woke up Jizzy Pearl at 4 a.m. in the morning. He was completely naked because they were staying in the same
Jizzy was, not Elliot.
place in Edinburgh.
Yeah, I wasn't naked. I didn't turn up home naked.
No. Jizzy Pearl was completely naked. You turned up completely drunk.
And tried to kick the door in. And that's
Yes,
why I
that's-
answered the door.
Yes, that would explain why he was awake.
And we've had a rather fruitful relationship since. Well, we
Yeah.
don't quite count.
James, you're not being very forthcoming with this tale.
I have a feeling he means on the last tour, where it was the night after Birmingham. We
Oh!
dropped Lee back, and
Yeah.
Lee was like, "If you need to be sick in my garden." And then Charlie threw up in the neighbour's garden, and Lee had to go clean it up after we left. I have a feeling it's that.
That's very likely.
Yeah, I don't know many Charlie throwing up stories. New Year's, that's about it.
That's normally
Well, everyone
me.
will throw up
New
on
Year's,
me.
where everyone was ill.
Oh. Does that still exist? Someone in the chat might know. Does Cloven Hoof still exist? Because I cannot drink it without just absolutely blowing chunks.
I mean, it still exists because I still have a bottle. So by
I
that
think
logic-
that's my bottle that I said you could have because I don't want it.
Oh no, I think it definitely is. Yeah.
Yeah.
They partly went out of business if they did because of Lee. Lee used to get through like 6 bottles a week.
Hi, Rich. Oh, Ramu, thank you for popping your face in. Nice to see you.
They do still exist. Oh
Cool.
no, it says out of stock.
Out of stock.
No, they exist. They got a new. I might try a new one. Are we still endorsed? How did that work?
I don't know.
Don't know.
Are we?
In theory, it's still got the T-shirt.
I've still got the very small
Mini
bottle.
one.
That they,
Yeah, I can
yeah.
back our first ever endorsement, so I've got a mini bottle in my keepsake. Oh, they
Do you guys keep
I
much
don't-
of the stuff? Because I keep all
I have
the
everything.
the passes, all the as many of the stickers from like AAA stuff as I can.
I've got hardly anything.
Really?
I think I have every single bit that we've ever done. In terms of festival passes, in terms of all the minor festivals, major festivals,
you still got
any
your
AAA.
You got your door card from the Kiss Cruise.
Yeah. I've still got the
I
poker
do
set.
have that.
I've got the
I
hat.
do have that.
Got 2 hats because I took 2.
Hmm.
I think I've got all the plectrum still that we went on the mission to collect. I don't think I got all the badges.
No.
Still got crazy cowboy bracelet on.
I sold the poker set they gave us.
I know
I know
you
you should
did.
have waited, boy. You should have waited.
Why?
You can only go up in value. There was only a finite amount made for the Kiss Cruise, and you sold it straight away for like quite a lot.
And I'm
But-
It was
keeping
quite
it.
a lot. It was like 230 quid or something. I was like, wow, if someone's paying 230 quid for this, yeah, you can have it.
Yeah, it was free. But I mean, like, imagine how much they are now.
I don't know.
Actually, we're gonna have a look.
Elliot's
Oh,
eBaying
boy.
it. Guys, welcome to Cash in the Attic.
I'm curious, man. We could be millionaires. We could be like worried about not being able to make hoodies, but we could sell some merch.
No, it's the fact that we'd be selling Kisses merch, like that
Yeah.
specific band.
It's Kiss Cruise 9, wasn't it?
Was it
Is it
was?
Yeah, it's still around the same price. 200 odd.
No, see, that's not buy it now though. Like some,
Well, it says all best offer.
yeah.
It's 2019 as well. It's the year we went.
That's because it was only done on 2019. That's what
No,
I'm
it
saying.
did-
It can only go up in price. The
Oh, I thought they did one every year.
No,
Alright, fair
different stuff each year.
they
mate.
do up cruise and they do different stuff. Like the towel and that, I think, were unique for that year, which is why I said if you kept it. But I think they add the tokens to it because it's got all the tokens from every year. This took a random tangent.
Yeah, sorry, boys.
I mean, we've been doing it for almost an hour.
So yeah, I think
59 minutes to be exact.
if you guys want to any last minute questions, and then I think it's going to be goodbye from Dead Man's Whiskey.
The stream will stay up till about 11, by the way, for the album. Or is
Yeah,
it
if you wanna-
12?
if you wanna
It might be
listen
midnight.
again.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And then, yeah, it won't be available until 29th, I guess.
and yeah, if we're going to be playing the whole album live at the Boston Rooms on the 7th of October, so you can. I've said that now out loud in front of people, so we have to fucking do it. So
I didn't realise there was no case that we weren't doing it.
I don't know.
It's just whether we were going to do it back to back. That was the only
Yeah, true.
question. Actually, wait. If anyone's in here still, what's your thoughts on? Should we play the whole album back to back, or should we intersperse it with other songs?
This is just for the London gig, isn't
Just
it?
for the London gig, yeah. The rest will be slightly different each night. But just for the London gig, we don't know whether we should, for the launch, play as per the album or not.
Ramu, yes, you can. Skull, have you guys come up with any riffs or anything yet for a potential album 3?
I mean, there's always stuff floating in the wings, but
I mean, we've
it's
got.
Yeah.
Did we use
Like,
Ice Cream
half of
Teeth?
this album was stuff that was floating about from ages ago. So,
Ice Cream Teeth got used, yeah. Did the Alice in Chains one get used?
yeah, both of them are.
The-
I
Both
don't know
Ice
what
Cream
that-
Teeth and the Alice in Chains one.
I don't know what they became. Wet Ass Peanuts, that wasn't what it was called.
Yeah, that's Fighting to Survive.
Listen, we're not clever. But yeah, the obviously October
thought about
7th we're going to be at Boston Rooms, but we are on tour in November. So do come out and see us. We're going up and down a bit. We're going to Scotland for the first time in bloody ages, aren't we?
Yep. But if people do want to hear the whole album, that will only be at Boston Rooms. From what I know.
Yeah.
And then I think, I'm very excited of playing tracks from it live. I mean, we've got like another 11 shows, so we'll be playing it in its entire. Initial test to see how people respond to the album live.
But
a
yeah,
lot of back to back.
a lot of back-to-backs.
I think back to back might win. I wanted to do back to back, I think, just because it feels a bit better to me. But
Do it back
and
to
we're
back.
definitely playing other stuff as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
we will definitely be playing other stuff.
And then just put a
Maybe
short
play-
30-minute classic DMW set on the end or whatever.
I do it at the start. Maybe we should. No, we don't have time. I was going to say we should just do a medley of all our other songs. Like just do like one verse from each and make it flow. But ain't nobody got time for that.
I'd love going down a Hoe Street just to make you proud to be a medley. That'd be quite funny.
It's a very different narrative, isn't it?
No, I know.
Well, just swap the choruses.
Oh, I don't want to tell my mum to put on her dick bulge jeans. That's not the one. She can wear her dancing shoes. That's fine. But yeah, I think if no one else has anything to ask, we'll make a note of back to back. And thank you for coming in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being patient enough to wait until now to be able to listen. Other than that, we'll see you on the road. Oh no, people, now they're asking questions, boys. Now they're asking questions.
They aren't.
Oh
No,
no,
they
they're
just
not.
make a statement. Yeah. So we
Enjoy
gotta
your
rather mesh
statements.
stuff out.
But yeah, thank you for coming and joining us. Thank you, Bill and Al, for being here with me. Because you're in the chat there somewhere, fuck you, James. Because you're not here in the chat anywhere, double fuck you, Charlie. And we'll see you out there, guys.
Sorry, I've just noticed the test press in the background. Did they send you more than one?
Yes.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah, there should be 3. Who's got them? Have you got 3?
I got 2.
Can I have one, please?
You can fight for it.
Can I have one, please? Wait, who's got the other one? Bill.
I think.
No, I think Rich has it.
Yeah.
Also, just to address Jake Towns' comment, a classical version of all our songs would actually be quite funny. I believe we've done reggae versions in the studio, but
We have?
not attempted
I have a
classical.
lot of reggae versions. I would like. It's just because I want to play with a whole orchestra in London, like all the cool bands do.
Yeah, that would be quite sick.
But yeah. Go on.
All right.
Should we get out of here, kids?
Yes, sir.
Indeed. Thanks for coming all,
Thank you.
and happy listening.
Ciao, Bella.